Welcome in, folks. Happy Tuesday to you, and welcome back, Lew Turner.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Good long weekend. Spent a little time with the fam. Got rained on pretty good on Sunday, and a great day, as we always like to hit on food choices.
Yeah.
In this stream between Ross and I. So I made not one but two soups.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so I did a chili, and you'd consider that a soup, right?
Yes.
All right, so I made a chili and a baked potato soup.
Interesting.
Yeah, both. All right, so here's the problem with that. They were both very good, but those are both really thick soups.
Mm-hmm. Chunky.
So
Got some lumps
I
in
need
them.
a little variety. I should have been smarter with my variety. I should have done a more like broth-based soup on the other to oppose my chili.
Yeah.
But I had potatoes in the pantry, and I was like, I need to use these.
So it's just sitting real heavy in there, right?
Heavy from Sunday and a little bit into yesterday, too.
Would you be proud if I told you we also had soup on
Okay,
Sunday?
yes, I would. Hit me with it.
Homemade tomato soup.
Ooh.
I've never had that before either.
Nice.
I only thought tomato soup came in a Campbell's can.
And that's good, too.
And yeah, my girlfriend was like, no, we're going to have real tomato soup. And she cut up a bunch of onions and yeah, there's stuff in there. It was great.
Made it right.
I've had it the last 3 days now.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing.
I paired it then. So she of course, you got to make grilled cheese with tomato soup, right? So she did that on Sunday. But the last 2 days, we've talked about the meat that my parents sent down.
Yeah.
We got some deer bologna in there. So I made myself a couple like deer bologna sandwiches, toasted the buns, and used that to like dip in.
Do you put cheese on that?
Well, yeah. So I do a slice of deer bologna, cheese slice of deer bologna, and just a little drizzle of like brown sugar hickory barbecue sauce. Toast each bun, dip it in the tomato soup. So good.
Living good.
Because you got to get a little protein in there.
You have to. And it was that kind of weekend, just a soft, dreary kind of Sunday, perfect for soft, like a soft Scottish day. You never heard that term for the Scottish weather? They refer to it as a little soft.
Oh, I can just call it a Scottish morn.
A soft Scottish morn. Just drizzly and cold, and pretty much all day was blah. So sat inside, did some mopping.
Actually, can you say that in a Scottish accent?
Mm-mm. I'd have to do my Shrek donkey. Soft.
Soft. Scottish day.
Scottish. Shrek. That's always Scottish. God, I don't know why I'd say Shrek. Anyhow, that's enough.
That's great.
That's good. Hey, eat well these cold mornings.
And you deserve a good meal tonight because we want to give you a round of applause. A congratulatory applause here for Lew Turner.
Thank you.
I talked about this at the end of the stream yesterday, that you had the chance to be a winner. There was a chance you were going to be a loser.
There was a very
I was
real
hoping
chance.
you were going to be a loser.
Of course.
Because I was still going to win.
You would have been fine taking an L because we both picked Indiana. You would have been fine just sacrificing one of your games to see me come on the other side of 500. But you know what? It didn't happen. Indiana gets the dub like we knew they would. Whew, close game. What a game. But 36-35, which means, listen, we know ball.
We do.
Some know ball better than others. But above 500, I'm going to say ball knower.
Now, remind them of what the loser has to do here.
I have to wear one of your jerseys.
Specifically a Penn State jersey.
Penn State jersey.
What day would you like that to occur? You want to?
As soon as possible. I pay. Hey, a Turner man pays his bets.
Okay.
So we pay him up pretty quick.
Okay.
So you just bring it in. I know maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Okay.
If I can remember. Yeah.
Remember. Bring in the number 11. I want.
Yes.
That's what I wear.
Sticks, baby.
Okay, sticks. I never knew it was referred to as sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And I wore 11 my
sticks,
whole life.
Like snake eyes.
And we're not far off from me avoiding wearing the grill. I don't know if Rachel officially got in on the bet.
Well, I have informed her of it, and she seemed game.
She's game.
So,
because loser of this, the NFL pick'ems for the playoffs is going to have to wear a sparkly grill.
A T-Law grill.
Yeah.
So we're close. It's competitive, though.
We're back. We're back, baby. And I think we're locked in for the next. I think at least.
You think you're hitting a hot streak right now?
I want to get to the tables. I'm thirsty for it. I got to get some action.
Give me another roll.
Just one more. Coming up. I mean, just always bet on black, and I'm just feeling it. Just after the other. Give me the table. Weather headline. So Another cold night. I know if you've been watching 7 days, you were looking at weather apps, you know we are kind of on the cusp of a warm-up. But let's not lose sight of the fact that tomorrow morning you are still going to be cold, frigid in some places, freezing or below inland. And even if you're now, some southern areas are going to stay in the 40s, but very, very chilly for us tonight. So inland freeze tonight. We're still layering up, but I like Ross dancing in the 70s.
A little disco action going on.
70s disco action Thursday and Friday. Yes, we return to the 70s. Thankfully, we get even tomorrow, seasonable is going to feel good. Get back up to those mid 60s. And then, back to the 70s Thursday, Friday before the rain chances do return this weekend. And, prefacing the weekend, there are a lot of uncertainty. Especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, lots of things that still need to be worked out. We've got our forecast for you, what we think with best information now. But let's keep checking back with us because some things could certainly change when it comes to our rain chances Sunday and activities early week. But currently out there, we saw the Buckman looking good. No traffic issues on the Buckman. And we're right there around 60 for Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's still pretty chilly out there.
It is.
I mean, beaches are in the 50s. And I can tell when it's chilly, at least per my standards, by when are my hands cold? And they've been cold here in the newsroom for probably the last 3 days I've worked. So that means it's still cold. If the phalanges aren't dancing, if they're not loose, they feel a little stiff.
You might just want to get checked for carpal tunnel.
Well, I don't have great circulation in the hands.
My man is typing up a storm over there on firstcoastnews.com, writing up our weather information. So I worry about that for him. So I wouldn't wish it on him, but he's always talking about his phalanges not dancing, and I don't know if that's a temperature thing or
jazz hands.
Maybe it's Yeah, you got to have, you at least have to flex the jazz hands a couple of times during a stream. Next 12 hours, so the sun going down, that's when temperatures really going to drop pretty quick. So back to the 30s after midnight, and we got that. There is your freeze warning inland.
Oh, and a frost advisory.
And we got our frost advisory in place too. Not
so they
surprising.
must have just recently put that out.
Yeah, that's actually brand new information for you. So that's not surprising either. Really, Georgia coastal counties looking at it, but anything kind of inland. Notice how it's inland of the St. Johns River. So I wouldn't worry too much about frost if you're in communities along the river or east, but certainly could get some frost on the crops and the plants. There west of the St. Johns River with your lows. So
I mean, that's a 20-degree temperature range when you look at from Waycross to Palm Coast tomorrow morning. So,
and there's hints of that. Some good wacky temperature differentials in the next 7 days. We won't tease it out too far, but
you're always teasing.
Oh, I'm a tease. I am, but yeah, interesting. Palm Coast 50 as the low in the morning. 46 St. Augustine. I know Palm Coast is kind of the edge of what we consider our viewing area, but for St. Augustine, a little more mild. Beach is a little more mild, but getting a little further inland, that's where we're going to see the coldest temperatures.
So Jimmy over there in White House, over towards Baldwin.
I think he gets a freeze. Now, I know McClenny's 33, and you kind of interpolate between NES Jacks, really Jacksonville Airport and McClenny, kind of what you would see on the west side. But I wouldn't be surprised if our friend Jimmy in White House said it hit 32 for 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a good point to make. We're not going to have like an extended period of time with temperatures below freezing. That's kind of been the case the last 2 nights where you've had at least a few hours of temperatures below. For most, that shouldn't be the case. Now, inland southeast Georgia, certainly, but perhaps, there on the west side, you get down to 32, maybe around like 4 or 5 a.m., so you get maybe 2 or 3 hours of it.
Always watching Cecil, always watching Harelong Airport, and then White House Field. It just seems a little bit cooler than the surrounding areas. But, I mean, with that inland freeze, what are we at, 6 days now? Almost a week straight of somewhere in the area.
Having a freeze.
We're in the kind of the throes of winter, and we haven't had the true kind of warm-up where our morning lows kind of stick around in the upper 40s, low 50s. But we get back to seasonable, and that, again, foreshadowing to what's to come by the end of the 7-day forecast as 65 to 66. It's 7. Look at Keystone, look at Palatka. So we wouldn't be surprised by a couple of spots hitting 70.
Finally starting to thaw out a little bit there by tomorrow afternoon.
Briefly. Because more is coming. And we got a lot to talk about in the kind of regional southeastern picture if you had any travel plans. So stay with us. We got to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome
back.
Yeah.
Let's take a look kind of at the warming trend here over the next couple of days, Lou. We talked, mid to even upper 60s, close to 70 tomorrow. Thursday, most of us going to be flirting with the 70s. We talked about, dancing in them. Low 70s Thursday, kind of for the Jacksonville area. Mid 70s by Friday. I think some of our more southern areas and counties could even get close to 80 degrees there by Friday afternoon. So a very nice warm up. And we'll kind of take you through day by day and give you a closer look here then. But, then kind of notice the back half of the next 5 days there. Saturday, Sunday, we're back on that downward trend. And it does look like in that extended forecast, kind of in that next 7 to 10 days, we are going to be kind of back down below average in at least the mid to, if not even lower 50s there through the first part of next week, Lou.
Looking ahead and kind of looking at some modeling, the headline says it, a few extra clouds kind of building in, maybe just a spotty shower Thursday, Friday. We're kind of, watching that chance, but nothing really significant, so nothing to worry about. Beautiful in general Thursday with temperatures in the low 70s. Can't really beat that. And then, as you mentioned, mid 70s. Yeah, the pick of the week, and it's a good one. Hey, why not Friday? Get after it a little bit because by the weekend things change up.
I think we need to get that trademarked, Lou's pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Stamp it on.
Yeah. I like that. We need some branding for that. Right up there with weather impact alert and then pick of the week. We need to have kind of a foil to the weather impact alert.
Yes.
Right? This is the day, because weather impact alert for taking action kind of in the negative. We got to change our plans.
You need to have something in the positive.
Right. We need to have the positive side because Friday is the day to, if you didn't have plans, make them.
Mm-hmm. One of those days, you can probably leave the windows open most of the day.
Yeah. Going to be very nice, and it is a bit of a tease. If you go back to that bar chart graphic, and I don't want you to do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, if you do it in your mind.
Your command is.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your captaining, but that bar chart graphic, when you've got that kind of middle day, that's the warmest, and then the days on either side of it, it does look like you're getting the middle finger salute. And it's exactly how I feel about what's coming.
Mother Nature will do you dirty like that sometimes.
And Sunday, Saturday, we got the 30% of us seeing rain. Sunday, that's the day that we may need to adjust this even more. So we'll wait and see if it's going to be an event like this past Sunday where we got a pretty good amount of rain covering a good deal of the people. But the big talk of social media, the big talk of the region and the Southeast, really the whole country is going to be watching this because it's going to have trickle-down effect on a lot of things from infrastructure, flights, travel. If you've got family from essentially Dallas all the way across to Atlanta, Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, Greensboro, Raleigh. This is the big one. This is kind of like...
This is the big kahuna.
This is the big kahuna. It's the... I'm not going to say perfect storm because that's a movie in and of itself, and I don't want to draw up the wrong ideas. But on paper, it's one of those just perfect kind of winter snow ice events.
Yeah, it's a very, very good combination of key ingredients. You have a fair amount of cold air at the surface, especially kind of north of the I-20 corridor. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of saying think in between I-40 and I-20. If you can picture where those interstates go across the country, I-40 goes pretty much through North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, and then I-20 kind of through the middle of the Deep South there. That's kind of the sweet spot for this wintry system. So you have the cold air at the low levels, and then it does look like there's going to be a lot of moisture available, through this system. It's just kind of getting that Gulf Coast return flow, pumping all this moisture in for rain, and then potentially freezing rain in the form of ice eventually. and snow as well for some of those more northern fringes.
And it's one of those things, I mean, you mentioned 20 and 40. A lot of people live in between those two interstates or along them. You know, this is a massive swath of population here. And really, what, you'd hope for is the snow. Like you want this for you as far as when we're talking safety, danger when it comes to travel, power outages. I mean, you root for snow as opposed to the more damaging and sinister ice scenario.
Yeah.
Which is right on that line with Atlanta. 20, of course, you can run it right, a straight line right from Atlanta to Columbia, South Carolina, then over to Florence. And it's just it looks like that's kind of your dividing line.
And it's not just that it's going to be like a quick 8-hour time frame of seeing some sort of wintry precipitation. It's the fact that this could be a long duration event of Saturday morning continuing all the way through Sunday night. More than 24 hours of freezing rain. I mean, that's a major impact. Crippling in some regards when you do get ice accumulations. More than a quarter to even a half inch. So we'll touch on that here in a sec. Here's a look at what just some of the snow forecast output or modeling output is looking like. So this is the European model, a very sharp line there for folks who either see no snow to those who could see, more than a foot of snow.
And look at DC, for instance, talk about major hubs, Charlotte, Atlanta on that edge, but then, they're probably looking at more of an ice scenario. So even though Jacksonville is a good way away from either one of these forecasts, and again, these are, as Ross said, model outputs, right? So not exactly official forecasts, and a lot of times this far out, maybe the numbers are overdone, maybe they're underdone, but either way, pattern pickup. And while Jacksonville is a long way away, if you have to leave out of Jacksonville and go anywhere this weekend, you're going through Atlanta or Charlotte, generally speaking, right? Or maybe Dallas. But those are your three kind of main hubs, and 90% is probably.
Or if you have someone trying to travel here from there.
There's going to be some issues probably beginning Saturday morning, and then even though the event will be concluding by Monday, Tuesday, it doesn't just turn back on like a light switch.
No.
So there are issues. And so this kind of a little bit further south, right, your ice output and potential for seeing ice. And kind of your magic number when it comes to ice is that quarter of an inch. And that's when things get heavy on power lines, they get heavy on limbs, on trees. And so all those areas highlighted, again, massive population from Dallas to Atlanta to Charlotte are going to have to be thinking about that. And the reason for, the snow versus the sleet and or freezing rain, if you're looking at certain weather charts, you notice in some of these communities, when they're launching weather balloons and getting measurements at 1,000 feet and above, well above that, but at different noticeable and important layers of the atmosphere, there's actually the trend of seeing more like a warm air, what we call a warm air nose, in a lot of this, meaning freezing at the surface, and it may stay below, freezing or below for that entire, what Ross was noting, that 24-hour to 30-hour time period. It may not get above freezing at the surface, but with that a little bit of warm air getting injected in the middle, what happens once a flake, falls into that cold air, that original cold air, but once it melts, it's not turning back to snow.
No.
It's either coming back as sleet, or it's going to be a super cooled rain droplet, hit something that's frozen on the surface,
and then freezes on contact,
and then turned into freezing rain. So kind of the physics of that. So what you need for snow is it's got to be freezing the whole way down.
Yeah.
Versus your sleet and or the freezing rain columns there that you can kind of see.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll touch on this quick, kind of look ahead at what some of the impacts could be with regards to the ice accumulations that Lew mentioned, and then we'll finish up with the 7-day here in just a few minutes for you. Welcome back in, folks. So we kind of left with this, Lew,
Yeah.
kind of describing what each of the different weather precipitation scenarios are with regards to kind of the vertical temperature profile in the atmosphere. For a lot of folks, as we look ahead to this upcoming winter storm this weekend, it's going to either be the snow or that warm air nose aloft, causing that freezing rain. And that's really what causes probably the worst impacts to most folks. Snow, of course, is impactful and is not ideal, but when you get ice accumulations of a quarter of an inch, even a half inch in some locations or more, that adds a lot of weight.
Yeah.
When you think about it covering a whole tree branch or a whole power line. So here's a good look at kind of what do the different depths of ice kind of mean. So a glaze to a tenth of an inch, that typically, means roads, bridges are slick. Power outages typically don't really happen all that often with the a tenth of an inch of ice, but travel is treacherous. Then you get to a quarter to a half inch. That's really when I think, okay, this is a major significant event, not only for almost impassable roadways and travel conditions, but then you're talking, okay, there's a lot of power lines coming down, and not just for a couple hours, perhaps an extended period of power outages out there.
I want you to temper any sort of panic. I mean, a half inch is enough with this, but you may see. So the bigger global models and ensembles that will output ice accumulation tend to overdo it because they have a hard time. They don't necessarily take into account how much ice is actually going to stick and form on a surface, right, or the surface. They're talking about just liquid and interpolating that information, how much liquid's going to fall from the sky and how much will be frozen. And so you'll see some outputs and maybe shared on social media of 4 inches. Euro and GFS might have spit out something like you might see a map shared that says 4.5 inches of ice in an accumulated forecast or output. That's pretty crazy. So that half inch just physically, I mean, certain surfaces in branches and power lines wouldn't be able to handle any more than that. So half inch to an inch, you're talking pretty catastrophic as it is. So
it's kind of one of those like in a hurricane.